Hi everybody. Oh, hang on. We've got volumes coming from where they shouldn't be. Hang on a second. That's that one. So annoying that those things reset. Hello, anybody? Yeah, anybody there indeed. I know it's a bank holiday Monday, and I know that this might not interest too many people, but I thought it'd be a fun thing to do was to have a play following on from yesterday anyway. So been and got myself some more paints and some more canvases, and yeah, we will. Where is that thing? There we go. Live. That's it. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, for goodness sake, Mick Jews is on again. Can't get away from you. Good afternoon, Martin and Michael. And I can never remember Dances with Aardvarks. I can never remember your actual name. I'm really sorry. Mr. Chisnell, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ian. So, there's one or two people. That's not so bad. So I don't really think there's going to be much turning. I might turn the fronts off a few platters, but yeah. I was going to have a play with some of these things on canvas, really, because it kind of made sense. In fact, I will do a couple more. Oh, I can't get this off. Hang on a second. Employ knife. That's better. These things are well wrapped. Mike. Oh, another Mike. Oh, there's too many Mikes. Mikes and Micks and Michaels. Hello. Oh, flipping heck. Troy, yeah, I can't believe you stayed till 2 o'clock in the morning, your time. It's nice to see you back anyway. So, right. So I've been doing a little bit of research so that I can try and make the most of some of these things that we have. All these different. I've got a table full of stuff. I've got all the racks are set up with the various different paints, and yeah, it's all getting it's all got a bit out of hand. But anyway, it should be fun. So I've got a few boards ready. So one of the things I did want to go through a little bit was kind of surface prep, because we didn't really do a lot of that yesterday, and wood turning wise we're always used to doing specific types of prep, but there's a couple of products with the Jo Sonja range that can be used on wood and work very well. So one I would like to try out, and where did I put that little sycamore bowl? That sycamore platter. No, it wasn't. It was maple, wasn't it? So and I have to say I wanted to go through them because the names are a little bit confusing. So they are surface preparations, but yeah, some of them are a little bit confusing. So one of them, which you might think is a standard sealer, this one is the Jo Sonja all-purpose sealer. Although it seals most things, it's not the thing to put on wood. And it can give you a really hard paint. So if you mix this in with paint, if you're wanting a really, really hard finish, so if it's something that is going to be handled a lot or chucked about, then mixing some all-purpose sealer in with your paint is a really, really good idea. There's various different variations and amounts that you can mix it by. The bottle has got an amount of information on there, but that is not a bad thing to put into your work. However, the one that we tend to is a better one for us is actually this clear glaze medium. So you'll have to bear with me because I'm doing the cameras on my own today. So this one is the clear glaze medium, and this one is like, it's a light sealer, is this. So this is one that's good for wood, and I'm going to put this onto our piece that we have here. Let me just zoom in a little bit because that is a little bit far away. I'll just reposition this camera a tad as well. Oh, the lighting in here is so bad. I'm so sorry. The amount of times that we've tried to solve this, it's just not even funny. Let's get rid of some of this white. That might not be helping. There, it's much better. So I'm going to put this on here, as I say, it is a light surface sealer, and you basically apply it and sand it back. I'm going to be a little bit more careful today with applying stuff than I was yesterday. I was just chucking it on. So I've got a couple of little pallets, and it goes directly onto your wood. Does the clear glaze medium. Oops. Oh, my sound's clipping. There, that's better. Bear with me a second, guys. I think that there's a setting that's going on here that's... Where are we? Audio. On where? Right. I shouldn't go into the yellow now. Let me know if that's any better, guys. I'd got reduced background noise on there, and yeah. Anyway, I've lost my flow now. So yeah, okay. So we're not going to put all-purpose sealer on. Put that away, Emma. We're going to use the clear glaze medium. Although the all-purpose one does say that you can use it on wood, this is the one that is more recommended, and you can also mix background colors in with the all-purpose sealer so that you can kind of seal and do everything all in one go. Now, please bear in mind, anybody that's watching, I am not an artist at all. So these paints and these mediums are a pretty new venture for me. So I'm kind of learning along with everybody else. And so I'll just get a good coat on here. And the idea with this is, as with any sanding sealer, you apply it and then you let it dry and then you sand it back. So it's going on pretty easily. Not really many brush strokes in there. I'm kind of not overloading the brush. I'm just dipping and putting a small amount on there and then working that around and kind of stretching it out, if that makes sense. And there is a little bit that seems to be soaking in. But yeah, it's not really leaving many brush strokes. Now, the reason that I'm bothering to do it with this is because it's supposed to give an ideal backdrop for then putting any of the paints on top of. Because yesterday we had a couple of problems with some of the paints that we were applying and the different background that we were using. So I used some ultra cover white, and that didn't particularly work well with the neons. But neons are tricky to work with anyway, just because of the pigmentation of them and the fact that they're slightly see-through. And the slippery surface really didn't help at all. So yeah, I've tried not to put tons of the stuff on. But where I can see that it's soaked in quite a bit, I've kind of gone over it a little bit more. Made sure it's all spread out, kind of trying to go in the direction of the grain as well with the brush strokes. And that's nearly dry already. So let me pop these out of the way. So abrasive wise, I'm going to go with some 400 grit for this, I reckon. I've got some Abranet. When that's dry, yeah, that's nearly there. It's not, I wouldn't say it's lifted the grain. I can't really tell if it's lifted the grain or if it's just the texture of the sealer. But we'll let that dry. So that one is the clear glaze medium. So like I say, you can mix it in with a background colour, or you can mix it in with the paints, and you can kind of do both at once. You can create a sealing coat, which also has the background paint on there are just your normal acrylics. So it's a coloured base that you can do just by mixing the two together. And I'm quite tempted to have a go at doing this in the future, because yesterday we had a play. We put some. Oh, that one's disappeared inside, I think. We did a background color, cosmic blue, no, galaxy blue background color on a piece of beach, and I'm gonna have to leave that to one side to dry. It is drying, it's getting there. But yeah, oh, it's here. It didn't work, by the way. It's very interesting. This was the one that we put a background on, so this was the galaxy blue, and you might be able to see just kind of reflected in the light a little bit that this we did a centrifuge pattern with cosmic glow, which is a glow in the dark one, and it didn't really work because there's not enough volume of the pigment. When I spun it out, I realized interestingly, when you held the camera up to the piece, so if I was going to take a photograph of it in the dark with the camera, it picked it up. I don't know if any of you guys are like me and have ever tried photographing the aurora, the northern lights. I'm kind of obsessed with it, but the human eye just can't see it the same. It looks kind of white, and unless it's extremely bright circumstances where it's kind of going bonkers, but you can't normally see the color. It's more of a white, but yet you put your camera up and it's this beautiful green. Similar thing was going on with this, really. So yeah, interesting. But I think I'll take the front of this one off. We'll do a little bit of turning. I'll just prep a couple more pieces. I wasn't going to bother. I was just going to stick to doing it on the boards. But seeing as we are wood turners, then I think that we should be experimenting on the wood as well. Mike's been described as some kind of artist. I wonder where he could possibly be going with that. So I'll take this one off and sand it, and then I'll take the front of this guy and this guy off as well. So we've got a couple of bigger canvases to work with. This one was a centrifuge piece we did yesterday with some of the new paints. These are like they're like shimmer paints from Chroma. So Chroma is the company that makes the Jo Sonja paints, and they do a range called the Craft Colours. Now, I was interested to buy these and start stocking them because they are a much cheaper price point than the Jo Sonja. The Jo Sonja is absolutely top quality, and you pay for it. And it wasn't until I was playing with the paints yesterday that I kind of realised just how good the Jo Sonja ones are. These are still really interesting paints, and I think that they will have a little bit more scope, and I'm going to do a little bit more playing with them today. But yeah, it just really highlighted how good the Jo Sonjas are. These ones are, I think these off the top of my head, are $5.99 for a bottle, whereas the Jo Sonjas are like $10.99 or $11.99, so they're more or less not quite double, but not far off. Just to give you an idea. But yeah, it was interesting to see. It was good. I am still excited by them. The neons especially. I really enjoyed playing with those guys, and I'm going to have another play with the neons today. I've had a bit of an idea, and I want to try some of these techniques with the different mediums in the background for doing the neons on top of. Good afternoon, Steve. Martin's been Tesco shopping. Look at you. We popped into the supermarket and we had bacon butties. It was sustenance to keep me going for this paint-a-thon. So no, you can't put that on with glasses on, Emma. Doesn't work. Hope that hasn't wrecked the sound too much. So I'll just put this on the end camera for now, just while we turn these pieces. So I'm just going to whiz through them one after another really quickly, and then we'll get them prepped. Oh, flipping heck. Yeah, I need to grab some. Oh, did I bring it in or not? I might have to grab something from the garage in a little while. I did some interesting prep work last night, so yes. Let's just move that in a little bit. So give that a sand. I'll just stick to the slightly larger heads today than the small ones, and I just need to change that out for my dust extractor because we had our hairdryer plugged in yesterday. That'll do for one. So I think that one I'll do a mix with the background colours and the mediums. So these are all ex-demo bits and pieces. I just save them and turn them and turn them and turn them. Very Stuart Freeney style. I can remember watching one of Stuart's demos and thinking it was such a good idea to actually not turn things to a completion, especially in a demo where you've got quite a chunky piece of wood that you might just be turning into bits on the floor. Doesn't really make sense. You might as well just take the face off and use the same piece again. What's wrong with it? Right, hopefully that's better. I've turned it down on OBS, so go tell me if that's any better. Apologies, guys. Roy's coming in and telling me that we've got a few audio problems, so we're just trying to sort that. He said it's clipping and quite loud to listen to, so I've just adjusted it. Sorry, I don't know what the word is. I'm no sound technician. So sound this one up. This one's coming towards the end of its life as a demo piece. I'm not sure I can get another one out of this, actually. We'll see. See if that's any good. That'll do. That's another one done. One more. Cool. So we'll get this one done. And that should give us plenty of canvases between the actual canvases and these wooden ones. That doesn't sound very happy. Just give that a bit of a tweak. It's getting thin in the middle. That's why it's the outside's quite thick, but I've obviously taken it down a little bit far in the middle. It's making a right racket. Don't know why that is so blooming noisy. Oh, Martin, that's quite normal. Different devices, it depends on whether you're watching on Wi-Fi or if it's actually wired in and all sorts of things. The latency is different with different devices, so that's standard. It's like I have it on StreamYard and I also have it on my iPad, and iPad's way behind. Not as bad as some days, but it is behind. Right, last little bit of sanding. Is that any better? It's so loud. I know, but right, well, I've put it on to -30. I can't do anything else. That is as low as you can put it for the... It'll be a bit quieter now. Can you hear all the fans and everything really loud? Just my voice? Here, give us that other mic. Right. Any... It's still...
No, it's not clicking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I'd already turned it down. As soon as I start talking, it's clipping straight away. It's still... Right, okay. Sorry, guys. I've just tried to change the mic and see if that's any better. Let's have a look. I'll see if I can adjust anything at this end. Bear with me. Audio. Right, I've turned everything down. Don't know why it's doing it, because I don't think it was doing it yesterday. Just let me know, guys, whether that's any good sound-wise. Martin says this sounds good. Oh, Anne. Perfect. All right, cool. Well, if it's too quiet, let me know. It's just for some reason, we've got the wireless Rhodes and they're really, really good mics, and for some reason, it's just clipping into the yellow all the time. As soon as I start talking, it's just clipping into the yellow over and over and over again. And I've like really reduced the decibels and everything, and I've just changed the mic. So yeah, as long as you can cope, then that's fine. That's fine. So cool. Right. Okay. So we've got a few things. So what I'm going to have a play with today, I will talk through as much as I know about various different things like the sealers and the mediums. There's a couple of really cool things that I've already prepped, which are using texture paste. I've got quite a nice little idea for these. So these I actually did a little while ago, and I will share my observations with you about them. So we'll go through that. We've got some iridescent medium to try. This one is supposed to make paints look all shimmery and cool. So I've got that, and I've got some really nice paints. We've got the stuff we were playing with yesterday. I'm going to do a few brush techniques, and I don't know. We're just going to have fun, guys. So we've got a few palettes ready. We've got a few prepped platters as well. I think I might do a little bowl. I've got a couple of little bowl blanks that's been part turned in the garage, and I was going to grab one and I completely forgot. So I'm going to grab one of those in a little while because I want to do some work on like a little deep bowl as well as the platters. So yeah, got a couple of elm platters that are nearly at the end of their demonstrating life. It's not thin, isn't that? It was making a weird noise when I was turning that one. And yeah, I've got this one, which we've already put some clear glaze medium on. So this is now ready to sand. So the one of the best things that you can apparently that you can seal wood with is the clear glaze medium. I always thought it was the all-purpose sealer, and it does say that you can seal wood with this, but apparently this one's a little bit better, the clear glaze medium, and it's quite an interesting one. Is the clear glaze medium as well, because you can use it as like a barrier coat before you do other things. So I have prepped this little maple bowl and put some on there. I'm just going to denib this with a little bit of abrasive. Where are we? So I'm not going to put it on the lathe. I'm just going to rub this off by hand. Which camera? Let's go for overhead camera. There we go. It's still not focusing brilliantly, isn't this camera? Hopefully that's a bit better. Can't really tell. It's just got that many blooming lights, and yet it just doesn't seem to want to light properly in here. It's a nightmare. So I'm going to sand in line with the grain. It does give a very nice finish. It's like there's hardly anything on the wood. It's quite odd. But it's supposed to give a really good keyed surface, is this, for using. So Abranet is not the thing to sand with, or net abrasive, whichever one you prefer. I'm struggling. I'm going to have to go across the grain there just so that I can use this blooming stuff. I love Abranet, but hand sanding, it's not great for, apparently. Okay, so that's kind of... It's a smooth surface, but it's not shiny, if that makes sense. So that should take some paint quite well. So I think I might have a play with some of the iridescent medium on this with various different colours. So let's make a start with that then. Okay. Do we need black on top? Yes, possibly. I'll use that for something else. we'll use, let's do a mix. Let's do a mix with the clear glaze medium and see what that's like, and a background colour. I'm going to use that background colour from yesterday, that galaxy blue. So I'm going to use these two together, and I'm just going to put a small amount of the colour in, and we'll build it up from there. So I've still got some clear glaze medium in here, actually. Just put a little bit more in. Let's have a look. So I'm just putting a few blobs in because this stuff is thick. I'm probably going about 1 part paint to maybe 3 parts medium. I'm giving this a mix. And this is supposed to like do 2 for 1. It's supposed to seal the wood and lay down a background colour all in one. So it's just reducing one lot of drying time, I suppose. Might not have mixed enough here. I'll do the smaller one. So this is going straight onto bare wood. Now what I did like yesterday was the coverage of this stuff. It's obviously not going to be quite as opaque, although I'm not sure, with having the sealer in it as well. The glaze, the clear glaze medium. And these all dry matte. So the paint's dry matte, and the medium, the background colours, or colour trends, as they're now known as. Okay, that's gone loads further than I thought it would. But yeah, they all dry matte, and the good thing with a matte surface is that you have a really good surface for putting down other paints on top. Oh, I know where they are. I bought a load of little plastic shot glasses for mixing resin. They'd be great for doing this instead of trying to use a tiny palette. So we're getting good coverage. I'm kind of still trying to spread the paint out as well. I'm not leaving it thick. I'm making sure it's spread out. Squeeze every last little bit out of there so that I don't have to mix anymore. And I'm going in the direction of the grain so that I'm trying to avoid brush strokes as much as possible. Right, we've got a little bit of grain on show. Not a great deal, but we just got a little bit up there. That's me being tight and not mixing anymore. But that is supposed to have put down a background. I should mix it just a little bit more, actually, for that. But a background that's also sealed. Now, the idea as well with this one, I won't miss my hands, Mike. The idea of this layer is that you do sand it down as well. So it is like literally a coloured sanding sealer is what we've made. A coloured wood sealer. So you put it on, and like the other one, you just give it a sand back. So me being stingy with the paint is probably not the best idea, especially for this sort of area over here where it's extremely thin, because I'll end up sanding straight back through to the wood. So I'm just going to it's not really doing a double coat, it's doing a proper first coat is this. I'm not going to do the other side, there's enough on there. So it's easy to work. It is easy to work. No, I'm just going to go over a lot because I've got extra left over. So you can tell that it is matte because I can feel as I'm going over this area that's dried slightly. It kind of tugs a little bit on the next layer that you're putting on. And it's basically grabbing the moisture from the next coat that you're putting on. And so that's why it's so good as a background, your matte colours, because they will just, anything that you put on top of it, they will kind of attach to. So that is our coverage. I can still see the grain, which is nice. Well, I can still see the grain pattern, which is nice. So I'll let that dry and then I'll give that a sand. And it's really not used that much paint at all, hasn't this? So what else can we have it go with? So I would like to gesso a couple of boards. So I'm going to white gesso one and black gesso another. And then we'll get on with mixing and having a play with some of these colours. I don't want to just pile loads of random colour onto all these different canvases that we have, because that's just a waste, really. So, and like I've said before, this is not a proper demonstration. I am not an artist. It is literally just for interest purposes, for me, really, as much as anybody. So let's go in with some gesso. Where's my palette gone? I'm not going to just put it all on here. Oh, that's cool, Anne. Oh, that is cool. I don't think we've got anything that flies past over here, but I might be wrong. I'm inside. I won't know. So I'm just going to gesso this up so that we can have a bit of a play with some other bits and pieces. And I can show you some techniques on these boards. A little bit easier than on the wood, and then we can transfer it onto that. And then I might do some proper demos from some of the techniques that we go through today. Especially the texture paste. It's really interesting stuff, is the texture paste. There's the texture paste, there's the clyster medium. Both of those are quite interesting things. I've been having a play with both of them. So, like I say, I just wanted to gesso up a few of these so that they're done. I apologise. I should have done this beforehand, really. I just time got away from me a little bit. With starting at 1 o'clock, kind of just your body clock gets used to doing things. Even though it's so long since I've done a live, I kind of got used to the mid-afternoon start as opposed to this time. So what sounds interesting? Martin, yeah, I'm going to leave these up for a little while, but I probably will try and do them as like proper demos going forward, and I'll paste them then onto both the Tiny Turner website and the Paints and Pigments website. So I'm just going back and forth again, trying to spread it out. You don't want heavy amounts of paint on it. It doesn't really help. You're better off doing more than one coat than bunging heavy layers down. Turn that around. Do this side. I can't find what has been so interesting that Mike said. Oh, oil paints on wood. Oh, flipping heck. Right, I've just spotted it now. Yeah, it's oil paintings. I can't get in my head around watercolor. Acrylics are kind of the easiest of the bunch, in my mind, or from the experiences that I've had. I do like the acrylics, but oil, it sort of never dries out, really, does it? As far as I understand. Or there's some oil paintings where there's that many layers and that it's that thick that it just will never dry. I don't know. That might have just been a myth of something that I heard. You may tell that I never went to art college, but I did have a bash at oils, and I never really. It was the watercolor I found the hardest, then the oils. Found acrylics fairly understandable. Right, we've gessoed that board, so we'll let that dry. And I might white gesso one of the others. I actually think that my technique of just pouring the gesso on yesterday was slightly better. Oh no, I got paint on there and I didn't mean to. Right, let's get another brush. And then I might have to go and just wash my brushes, actually. I washed them all yesterday, but I haven't brought anything in to wash them with today, which is a bit silly. White gesso. So why are you avoiding acrylic then, Mike? That's... Oh, look at that. A not clean brush putting white on. Brilliant. Let's see if you can see the mucky board. No, I keep going to the wrong camera. Sorry, I can't remember the sequence of them. Oh, no, it's all right. I've wiped off all the grey. I'm going to have a multicoloured lathe by the time I'm done here. So that's these two boards nearly prepped. So we've got a couple of boards that I can show you some techniques on. And then, so one of them I would like to go through is like loading multiple colours onto the brush. You can create some really interesting things with that. Little flat brushes are pretty good for that technique, as opposed to your pointed brushes. Let me just get that to the edge, and then I'll put this one down, and that's us done for prepped backgrounds. Running out of space. Cool. Right. Okay. So I'll just put those to one side. So one thing I do get asked about as well is stenciling. I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling with these little makeup blenders. So I'll show you that, and I'll think, what can I do that one on? Might be able to do that on this piece of elm, actually. But I've just seen that I've splashed some paint on there from the other colour, so I'm just going to quickly zip that off. Where's that abrasive gone? There. So I'll just get rid of those bits, or I'm going to have to resand it properly. Oh, flipping heck, Emma. I am going to have to sand it. Excuse me, guys. I just need to quickly resand this. It'll take 2 seconds. Right, that's better. Cool. So that is prepped. So I think I might have a play with the iridescent medium first and see if that works. I'm going to put this onto the lathe just because it's easier to do some painting. I'm going to do this kind of Mick Hambray style. So I'm just going to take a few paints. I don't think I need glasses on for this. What colours do we have? I've got brilliant magenta. So these are just some of the standard Jo Sonja paints. Let me see if I can get a better shot for you. There we go. So we've got phthalo, turquoise, and brilliant magenta. What else have I got? I think I had a really nice... Oh, I've got a nice green as well. This is sap green. I love that green. And then we've got a couple of different things. Yellow, orange. I'm pretty sure we've got a naphthol crimson, which is a good red as well. Dioxazine purple, which is the most ridiculously expensive tube of paint of the Jo Sonja range. It must be the powders specifically. The pigments. And we've got amethyst. So all these are in the little kit that you can get. The Creative Possibilities kit, it is called. Okay, so we've got some of this stuff. So this is iridescent medium. And it just says that you can mix it as a shimmer. You can use it as it is as a top coat, or you can mix it with paint to create the iridescent mixture. So I think this one, is open. So let's see what happens, because we are used to seeing iridescent paints. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit more. So that is how it's come out of the bottle. It's quite a thick consistency. And I'm going to put in, I think we'll start out with this turquoise. It's a really dark turquoise. So I've no idea what the ratio is. I think I'll just start with a small amount. Maybe 1:1. That's about 1:1. I'm just eyeballing all this. Ooh! Can you see that? I keep lifting this up, don't I? I'm going out of focus. So that's interesting stuff. So it's definitely added a load of shimmer to it. That is interesting. So let's try this on. This is where I wish that I'd prepped a load of boards. Have I got my board from yesterday? Yes. Okay, so it's kind of made it sort of pearlescent, really. I need to dry that. So I need my hairdryer plugged in. So yeah. Oh, Steve, our colourblind friend. Okay, so that is quite interesting. It has given it a kind of I don't really know what the definition of iridescent is. I'd say for me, it's almost more of a pearlescent finish in a lot of ways, but it's put a bit of shimmer on. You can see that from the way it's reflecting. If I was to just put some of the standard phthalo turquoise on there, or grey, as Steve says, then that'll give you an idea as to the difference. Try not to run through all my brushes in like 30 minutes. So that is the colour it was, which is extremely dark. So I wonder what it would be like if we put any of the premium pearlescent. So this one's the pearl white. I'm wondering if it might have a similar effect. So looking at it in the bottle, let's have a comparison. It's much more of a creamy colour. Where's the focal point? There we go. Is the pearl white, and it is a very, very different consistency as well. So I'll chuck some in. What's this one? This one's glistening snow. This is from the Chroma range. We didn't look at this one yesterday. That's a little bit closer in colour, but definitely not as thick a consistency. Let's put a little bit of that in. Shake, shake, shake. Much looser consistency. And it's not got, it probably won't show you on the camera so much, but it's not quite got the same shimmer. It's not far off, but the iridescent is slightly, it's got slightly more of a shimmer to it. I'll put that on as well. Yeah, it's much more fluid cover is that. So the iridescent paint keeps it nice and thick. This is a little bit of a more loose consistency. You could probably use the other one without flow medium to do centrifuge painting. So I think we should have a play with this. So like I say, let's make some iridescent paints up with our iridescent medium, and we'll do some Mick Ambry style painting. I'll do pink next, just for you. Just for you, Steve. Just for you. Okay, so I need to learn to mix on this surface instead of picking it up all the time. It's really hard to do. Right, so we'll have that one. We'll have some green in there, and we'll have pink just for Steve. I do want to do red as well, because red is such a difficult colour. I think it will go pink. It is such a difficult colour to get any kind of... I can't tell if that's focused or not. There we go. It's a difficult colour for pigments, is red, to get it right. So I'm interested to see. So let's mix that up. That looks cool. I suppose there's no real ratio on the bottle because it'll depend how loose you or how translucent you want it. I imagine if you add more of the medium, it will become slightly more see-through, if that makes sense. So let's do magenta. So this is a nice hot pink. Oh, that's cool. This is cool stuff. I'm pretty impressed so far. I know we haven't used it yet, but it's looking good. And sap green, which is actually, it's a nice green. I am fussy about my greens. I have to add a lot yellow into a lot of greens because I kind of don't really like bluey greens. But this one's a nice colour. It's kind of pea green. It's like pea soup. So that, I think, could do with some more iridescent medium in it. It's not gone particularly iridescent, hasn't that? And I just want to try this, but we might end up using it as well. This is the crimson, Naphtha crimson. Yeah, red is such a difficult colour to get right. Oh, no, it's kind of stayed red. That's very promising. Right, let's chuck them on the... Oops. Let's chuck them on the piece. Oh. So, I think we'll start with turquoise in the background. So, I'm going to kind of do some cross hatching, and I think... Oops, number 4 camera. My gut feeling is it might need more iridescent medium in it. So in that case, I'm just going to fire a load in because I think that this might make it slightly more translucent. So it hasn't changed the colour much. And it certainly hasn't changed the consistency, but I just think it might make it go a little bit more translucent because I thought iridescents are normally quite translucent. I'm just doing kind of a crosshatch pattern. So I do want to see the brush strokes on this. I reckon that you hardly need any paint at all. I think I've probably gone a little bit too overboard with the amount of paint I've added. I love the colour though. It's proper nice colour. And it's definitely got a shimmer to it. It's kind of got a kind of almost a greeny shimmer. So we've got a bit of a background. I don't really want to, at this stage, clean that off. I'm going to go in there with, I think I'll go in there with the pink actually. And see what we think. So it's going to create a more of a purpley colour. And I want to go in there whilst it's still wet so that the two colours sort of mix a little bit. And then I'm going to go over it again with the red, I reckon. So like I say, this is Very much a Mick Ambry technique. So all credit to Mick for this kind of patterning. And red, last but not least. Then I'm going to give it a dry off and see what happens. So again, I kind of want to go in. Ooh, I'm not so keen on that. So the red's actually worked really well. But no, it's okay. It's going okay. I'm just trying not to go quite as far up with the red. It's not the best. It's not the best color choice, and it's because it's more of a turquoise than a blue. And I'm really loading the brush up with the red. Spin till you win. Oh, that's a good point, Troy. That's cool. Put some orange in with it. It should stay red, but it has actually stayed quite red. But I'm just not sure on that colour combination at all. Not one bit. So what can I do to salvage this? Possibly nothing. It's just a play. What was that metallic colour yesterday that I was trying that I really liked? Frosted Fairy. So this is not an iridescent. This is a metallic. Metallic-y pearlescent. No, it's too wet to make a difference. I'd kind of secretly hoped that the purple and the pink and the blue would go together, which I kind of think that they have, but adding the red, I'm not so sure about. Anyway, let's give it a dry down because it all changes when it dries. And this will give me a good shout as to whether or not it's going to be kind of iridescent-y. So let's have a look at that. But the colours have worked out really well. So you might be able to just see in there that they have got a nice kind of shimmery colour. The only one I haven't used is the green. I don't think we can rescue anything with the green. But no, it's got a shimmer. It has worked. It's just the pigment. Yeah, it's definitely got a shimmer to it. Okay. So let's dry it. See what happens. Now it does say that you can use that iridescent medium over the top just as it is. So I think, oh, sorry guys. I think I might have to, I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to have to try that and see what that is like just as a top coat. Because it's really interesting stuff. And I'm wondering how sort of opaque it is. So I'll just dry that off a little bit more. Do you know what, Stuart? I think you're right. Let's fire in some neon yellow. I'm even going to mix some iridescent medium in with it. we've got to do it Stuart style, seeing as Stuart's here. And it might just be the thing we need to save it. Look at that. Mick will be appalled. He'll be like, because Mick does such good colour choice, and mine was not so great on this. But I have to say, Stuart, that neon yellow has worked. It's kind of saved the day. It's just giving it that little bit of a pop that it needed. Interesting, very interesting. It looks terrible on the image, but actually in real life, it doesn't look that bad at all. Oh, yeah, and I was going to go over the whole thing with the shimmer medium and see if it does what it's meant to do. Let's give that a bit of a dry. Oh, fair enough. I've just seen what you said about the iridescent medium, actually, Stuart, and that was my kind of worry. That is it. It's got quite a lot of pigment in it. It's got, in order to sort of shimmer, it has got quite a lot in there. You can just see from my hand. So, yeah, I think that's gonna take over. Actually, not sure about that. We might put some glow in the dark on. I wonder what that would be like. Glow in the dark, iridescent. Troy, what have you said? Maybe some. Yeah, I think I might put a little bit more black back into it. It looks terrible on the screen, I have to say. Right, I've got, this is Cosmic Glow. This is from the Chroma range. And I think I'm just going to, let's just pile a load of stuff on. So this is Cosmic Glow mixed with Iridescent Medium, which means I'm hoping that if I put enough on, it should glow, but you should be able to see something during the day as well with the Iridescent Medium. Just don't know whether the Iridescent Medium will sort of blank out the glow in the dark. It's not quite dry enough. Not far off though. So I played with the glow in the dark last night. Yesterday. It didn't particularly work too well. I might bring that out a little bit actually and have some slightly longer fronds. Yeah, it didn't work too well because there wasn't a high enough concentration of pigment. I'm hoping that by sort of loading it on like this, that it will work. Yeah, I think that is exactly what the iridescent is going to do, Stuart. I'm not sure it's the best thing to do is do it as a top coat. So Chuck, I'm going to play with some of the Jo Sonja top coats today because they have various different varnishes. And I'm going to have a go with that. Previously, yeah, I'd probably just have put like a spray lacquer top coat on. I've done it before with the crackle mediums and stuff, but I'm going to have a go with the varnishes. I'm particularly interested in the satin one. And I've got some of that here. But you've got to be careful using these because if you've used any of the finishes, if they're matte, because these are polyurethane and they're water-based, you've got to be really careful applying them because you've got, your wood is absorbent even though you've sealed it, and then you've got your paints on. But matte paint is quite absorbent, and if you try and put your polyurethane varnish on if you haven't got a lot of experience using them, if you brush it on, you can start peeling your layers off underneath, or you can start to find that the resin in this starts building up because it kind of sucks the water out of it. So sometimes it's advised to use a clear glaze medium as like a pre-top coat because it's a light sealer. So putting this over the top and then putting your varnish on as the final thing. And if you do shake your bottle of varnish, shake it up and then leave it to one side and just let it kind of resettle and get rid of all the bubbles out of it. So just go make a cup of tea before you sort of come back to it. So I'm going to have a play with these today as a sort of a good coating as opposed to the sprays that I'm used to, because I'm just trying to play with all these different things, really. I can't decide if I like that or not. I'll take it off anyway and show you it. I'll just give it one more blast and see. See you later, Roy. Right, so I'll take this off and I'll see if I can show you it in a different camera angle, because that one on the end's all right, but it didn't really give it a good kind of colour. So this is what we've kind of got going on. So it has got, if you tip it one way, it's got quite a heck of a shimmer on with that top iridescent coat of colour, which has got the glow in the dark on as well. But if I kind of tip it out of the light, you can see a bit more going on with the colours. So it's interesting. I don't hate it, that's for sure. I really love that phthalo turquoise. That is absolutely gorgeous with the iridescent medium in it. Really nice. I'll definitely be using that again. But I think I need to find some other colours that will work quite well with it. I'm thinking maybe the darker ones are what's going to work. So I'm going to leave that to one side to dry. And then we'll have a look at something else, I reckon. So, so this is quite interesting stuff, is the Magic Mix. This is kind of a mixture between flow medium and I think it's the all-purpose sealer. It's either the all-purpose sealer or the clear glaze medium. So you can use it for sort of thinning your paints down and increasing your open time like flow medium does, and sort of thinning things, but it also has a little bit of the sealer in it, so it helps it to form a better cut layer. And yeah, it's just again, it's kind of a mixture of two things so that you're not having to keep mixing and doing different coats or different layers. So that is what the Magic Mix is. Now, we don't really need to extend the open time for anything, so that is not really any good for right now. So we've got Clyster medium, which I want to have a play with. That's quite interesting stuff, is the Clyster medium. And what else did I want to have a go with? Oh, so the texture paste. Let's have a look at the texture paste next. I might have to go and grab that little bowl. So texture paste, I've got a few little molds. These are just cheap and cheerful molds from Amazon. And I did these a few days ago because I was going to do a little live a while ago and I just didn't have the time to do it. So these ones are leaves. Let me just go grab a couple of others out of the box. Where have they gone? So I got various different types. I think they're like sugar molds for cake craft, really, as opposed to like resin molds. And the downside of that is they're quite detailed, which was not a good idea because the texture paste is good, but it won't. It can struggle sometimes to get into all the little nooks and crannies. I'm just going to chuck all these bits of paper in the bin. Just 2 seconds. Oh, my gesso's dry. Excellent. Okay. So there's 2 different texture pastes. There is a white and a black. The white one is not as good as the black. It's a runnier texture. So the black one you can actually put onto something. Let's just grab one of these little bowls, or one of these little platters, and the black one you can more or less sculpt it. So if I squeeze some of this out onto the surface, the best thing I can explain this, it's like rubbery paint. Right, and I'm going to use one of my wrecked brushes that's a size brush because I don't want to ruin a good brush. It does still come out, does this stuff. I haven't sealed the wood, which was a silly idea, and I didn't need the tube properly. You need the tube. It should still stick. But as I'm kind of... What's a good angle for this? Let me just try the top camera. 2 seconds. Let me just try and zoom in. I'll be back. Oops. Yeah, so you can just kind of see the texture. So whatever you kind of put on there into that texture will stay with the black one. The white one, I've found that it loses form. So you'll do a little bit of kind of sculpting and then it'll just sort of merge away into nothing. But it does take quite a while to dry. You can apply a hairdryer to it in order to help force it to dry, and you can do all sorts of sort of sculpting. You can use a palette knife on it. You can sort of use rollers. It's pretty good. It's got a limit, but it is pretty good stuff. And if you're not particularly good at applying texture, there you go. With tools, if you're not keen on it, then this is quite a good way to get texture, and it gives you a black background, which then you can do all sorts of other things with. But it is also good for filling molds with. So if I swap those over, I am going to use a palette knife for this. It is a lot easier to work with a palette knife into a mold. So let me just grab one. So these are just from W.H. Smith, and I'm going to use this long palette knife because that will allow me to kind of push it into the mold. So I'm just going to squeeze it straight in there. I'm going to need the tube this time because it can separate. That's a good point to make, actually. Any paints that you get, any of these standard paints, if you find that you haven't used them in a while, give the tube a knead, and because sometimes the pigment and the binder can separate, and if you open the paint tube and all the binder pours out, the pigment will end up hardening in the tube and you'll lose your tube of paint. Oh, you've uploaded the smelly elm you were turning. I hate the smell of elm so much. It's foul. It is really foul. Oh, bless. All right, Jennifer. Yeah, wake him up. Go shout at him. Or throw cold water over him. Okay, so I particularly like the long nozzle. Sometimes it gets a bit clogged up. Now, I did use it the other day and cleaned it out, so I'm hoping it will work. But your nozzle will let you kind of push it into... It's gone hard again in the blooming nozzle, hasn't it? Oh, no, we're good. I need to roll this down like a toothpaste tube. So it is quite difficult to push through this nozzle, but I find that just pushing it through into the corners gives you a good head start instead of just putting a blob in the middle, which is what I used to do. This just helps get it into all those little nooks and crannies. I would recommend that you don't get a complicated mold for this stuff because it's not like resin. As you can see, it's not fluid. It doesn't flow into all the areas, so it can trap air bubbles. And that is a bit disappointing when you take it away. So I'll put a little bit in the middle, and then I'm just going to push it all down with the palette knife. And again, I'm just trying to force it into all those corners first, and then I'll scrape across the top. But what is cool about it, and you might think, well, why not use resin? You know, why not just use resin? The reason is, once resin is dry, it's hard. This stuff retains its kind of rubberiness. So it's quite interesting because you can mold it. It's flexible. I'll just get that off the surface. It will shrink a little bit. There will be a little bit of shrinkage, but it's not disastrous. So that takes quite a while to dry. As I say, it does say that you can use a hairdryer, or you can I've put it on radiators before and I didn't like the finish that I got putting it on radiators. So I've never tried it with a hairdryer. I just tend to do it and leave it for a couple of days. So we'll put that to one side to dry, and I'll show you the ones that I prepped a few days ago. And just make sure that we've got... I need to clean that out again. Clean the nozzle. So I've got a few that I've done. I'll go on to the overhead. Oops, that's not the overhead. So this one was, you can possibly see the reverse, a little bit too complex, really. But it hasn't done bad. So I am going to use this because I can mold it. It's flexible, so you could put this around the edge of a little hollow form or a little bowl, and I'm going to go and grab a little bowl and glue it on. And then we can do some finishing to that. There's no point gluing it onto a straight surface, a flat surface, sorry. So I'll just... What have I got? Oh, I've got one up there. That'll do. Oh, I can't reach it. We'll put it on there because that was a bit of a naff project. Might not stick. But you can go around the edge of a bowl and do something along those lines. Let me just see if I can... I'm struggling a bit with cameras today. Let me just zoom out a tad. So, yeah, I think I will glue it on here, actually. Just want to check that I've got all these little bits of the background, because you get slight bits of overspill. I just want to pick those off. And you can sand this as well. It's really interesting stuff. So I'm going to try and put it somewhere where it's good for the grain. I have no idea what to stick this with, actually, because it's quite porous, so it might be an idea to seal it. Obviously, the go-to would be CA glue, so let's try that first because it's quick, but I'm not convinced it will work. Let me grab one. Have we got a thick up there? Let's have a look. Hi, Fuller. Never tried it with a microwave. I haven't tried it, and I really don't know. I've never glued it on. So I'm going to try with CA glue, but I'm not convinced that it's the right stuff. And this bowl has got wax on it, so I'm not really helping myself at all with this. But I'll try and find out what glue. I've done all this to prepare for it and never even thought about what adhesive to use. I'd probably use something more like my gut feeling would be an epoxy, 2-part epoxy. Well, I think that might have gripped. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of dry brushing over the top of that, just to sort of age it a little bit. So while that's drying, I will demold some of the other bits. So I'm just going to leave that sat upright slightly. So this is a little leaf mold. We'll see if I go onto the other camera. Oh, so this one was, yeah, this one, the leaf pattern in it's a little bit shallow. That's a good one. Those are okay. And this one is the white. I really don't like the white one. It's not bad, but it's bubbled quite a bit as the white one, and it's nothing. Is it the mold? Oh, hang on a minute. It might have a bit of a weird texture. Yeah, I don't think that this is a particularly well made mold, actually. It's all right, but I do prefer the black paste. It's in comparison with the two. No, there's definitely some bubbling in there. Can I tip that one? I'm sorry that it keeps flickering this camera. Let me just try on the overhead one. They're a bit small, really. You can't see. I'll take a picture of them. So yes, I'm going to try to put some colours over the top of these. That's why I've done so many, Nick. So I am going to put some size over the top, and I've got some various leaves. So we'll have a play with that, and we'll have a play with putting some. I'm going to obviously put some chameleon powders on as well, and I'll dry brush the one that's on here, I think. Oh no, shall we put leaf on this one? Shall we put leaf on the bowl? Why not? I can't remember what's on that one. I think that might be my chameleon colours on the inside of that. But we can. I don't mind which one we do. So we've got these, and then I did a few little. I did many, as you can see. I did a few leaves, and then I did some little bugs. Let me just grab those. Leaf, leaf, leaf. Oh, that's a butterfly. That's kind of worked. Yeah, they're a bit too complex for these molds. There's a little bit too much texture in them for it to pick it up particularly well. And we've got a damselfly, I think, dragonfly. That's a little bee. Oh, that's not worked. I haven't pushed that far enough down. I haven't put enough paste in that. And that is a little ladybird. So my advice would definitely be go for a simple mold that's not kind of got underlayers. These are sugarcraft molds. So they are for making cake decorations. So they are very complicated because you're putting something quite liquid into them. And they're a bit too complicated for this, really. But we'll see what they look like. So that seems to have glued, actually. Does that CA glue? I'm quite happy with that. And I'll glue some of these other pieces onto the plate that we did so that we can apply some finish onto them, seeing as the CA glues worked. Oh, it might be fuller, but I still don't like the smell of it. I hate turning elm. Yeah, my edible bowls next. So I'm just going to glue these onto here so that we can work with them. I'm using a thick CA glue, by the way, so that there's a little bit of void filling going on. And I have turned this stuff. It's a bit of a pain. You've got to have very, very, very sharp tools. But you can. It doesn't like dull your tools or anything, or it didn't when I was having a play with it. This is a couple of years back that I was having a go. It's just tricky because with it being flexible. Right, these are a little bit of a loss. I will take a picture of them, and I'll take a picture of this white leaf next to the black ones before we colour them, actually, and then I can put those up on my page so that you can see what's what before we colour them. We're not going to play with that one today. So let me just dig some size out, guys, and some leaf. I think that's a good idea. I think that's gold. What's this one? Genuine gold leaf. Maybe not. Maybe not for an experiment. Variegated red and variegated blue green. Right. So, is that dry enough? No. That needs a little bit more time. So we'll come back and do the leaf on that. I think I might have to seal those as well. So where's my bowl? So I think I will just go on and do some dry brushing over the top of this one. So just sticking with the paints for now. So let me just reposition that camera. And I will zoom in again. Okay, so we've got a million paintbrushes that need cleaning. I'll go do that in a while. And I will have a bit of a tea break as well then, guys. But in the meantime, I'm just going to grab a fluffy brush. I tend to dry brush using eye makeup brushes. I'm not a huge fan of dry brushing with like proper dry brushes, so this is what I tend to use, something like that. And these are a £5 instead of like 15 quid. What am I looking for? I'm going to use this ancient shield from yesterday, I think, because I love this colour. And we've got a couple of spots left on the palette. And we need some kitchen roll. So this is such a simple technique. I'm not sure, I've never done it with this particular paint. This is the Chroma Craft colour. This is Ancient Shield. So yeah, I've never tried it with this one. But you want to put a good amount onto your brush and then you swirling it all off again. I should have actually not used this one because the inside of this is kind of more a coppery colour. So I might see what this looks like and then I might go over it with Aztec Gold from the Jo Sonja range. So swirl all that off on your brush. I then go onto the back of my hand because you can feel whether or not the brush is wet or not. It shouldn't feel wet at all. If it does, you've got too much pigment on there, or you've got too much of the binder. So just go onto the back of your hand and you can see some coming off. That's the iridescent medium, which is not clear or see-through at all, really. It's very silvery. It's actually a very nice silver. It's closer to a silver than I've ever seen any silver. And then we can take our area that we're going to put the texture on and we're just going to dust over the top. And that should start to highlight all our high points. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very kind of old brass colour is this. This would look very nice for like fake looking metal work with this particular colour. So if you want to build on that, don't go in with heavy coats. Just go back, pick up some more paint. You can go back to your what you've swirled off, but sometimes that dries out quite quickly because your kitchen towel is quite absorbent, and you don't get a lot of pigment pick up again. Onto the back of the hand, and then straight over the top. I'm going to swirl it a little bit on this because I do actually want it to go down into the detail slightly so that the whole thing kind of looks like really aged metal. So I don't want too much of the black. It just looks kind of... That looks awesome. Let's see if we can get a bit of shot from there. Hang on. Now I've got it on the wood, which is a little bit careless because I'm just wanting to show you what it looks like. But that's working pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with that. Interesting. So yeah, it does. It looks like dirty metal. For cleaning that up off here, it is ash, so if it's in the grain, it will stay in the grain slightly. But I used microcrystalline, so I could just wipe that over with microcrystalline and pick some of that up. If I wanted to brighten this, you could go over it with a slightly different colour. You can start to mix colours. In fact, what have we got in our metallic range? I'm tempted to go in with a bit of lustrous gold and mix some of the lustrous gold with the Ancient Shield, so it just gives it a bit more brightness. So I've gone 1-to-1 with the Jo Sonja lustrous gold because there is like a goldy colour to this. Yeah, that's a little bit brighter now. So I will go over the whole thing again, but not as heavily. So swirl it off. As soon as you put Jo Sonja paint in, the pigment difference is massive. Oh man, they are something else of these paints. Yeah, Colin, dry brushing before gluing it on would also have been a very sensible thing to do. You could use antiquing wax. I'm pretty sure that would work as well, Mike. It's inert stuff is the texture paste, so you're not going to get any horrible reactions with it. Martin, yes, it is the bowl I did the other week, whenever it was, with the flakes and that. I kind of thought that it'd work all right. Hi, Todd. Oh, you're not that late to the party. We've been going about an hour. Yeah, magic. That is just adding that little bit of gold in, just on the very, very tops. That's really brought that to life. Yeah, that's cool. So you've got that really nice antique background, that ancient shield as a background, and then I've mixed in some of the Jo Sonja lustrous gold with it to pick out the very, very top bits. That looks pretty cool. So that is the texture paste. So that is completely three-dimensional, and it means you don't have to carve it. You know, you can just put it in a mold, take it out, it stays flexible, and then you can glue it on. But who was it who said to do? Was it Martin? Colin. Colin said about going over it first with and then gluing it on, which is definitely right. I should have done that. I was just trying to work out what to use, really. So I need some microcrystalline wax because I would like to clean that up a little bit. There we go. Hello, Mark. When's your next live, Todd? Oh, it's just started to dry too much. This isn't microcrystalline, is it? I used wood wax 22, and you can't clean it up the same. It's coming off all right though, but it will be in the grain slightly. So yeah, should have either masked it off or done it separately. I was just too excited. Oh, it'll have to do for another day. Well, that I'm not going to stand here all day trying to clean that up. I really like that. That's got some potential, definitely. So, yeah, that is the texture paste, but you can just put it straight on and use it as texture. So it's drying quite well on this platter. Are our leaves ready to go? Yes, they are. So it is drying okay. That's what we put in earlier with the brush. It's lost a little bit of its what's the word? Where am I? There we go. Yeah, it's kind of relaxed a little bit, but not a great deal. You can still see all the brush marks in there. It's pretty cool stuff, is the texture paste. So let's have a go with putting some metal leaf over the top of it. And of course, I'm going to have to try putting some of my chameleon stuff over it as well. That it would just be rude not to. So let's find a size brush. Size is a brush killer, guys. If you don't clean it immediately off your brushes, they will never be the same again. So I'm just trying to dig through to find a brush that I've used for size before. Normally I have them marked, and I haven't marked them. Unless I think I had a purge and threw them all in the bin because they got bad. That's had size on it before. I can tell. Okay, so the question I'm going to ask first is whether or not this is going to need sealing first. It's weird stuff. Cindy's live this Friday. And you are... Ah, right. Cool. You are live next Friday. I've got to try and get along to some of y'all. Do you not have any of your Zoom lives coming up either? That's what I'm after. Why are all these sealed? I don't understand. I don't understand. This shouldn't be. Okay, that is a good one. Oh, that one has been used before. I thought so. Right. So this is just, this is acrylic size. This is my own brand of acrylic size that we're going to try. So I'm just painting that on to our leaf. I'll do a couple. Worst comes to the worst, you can always do a second coat and use the first one as a seal coat, but it doesn't look like it's soaking in, so I think we'll be all right. So we'll do all three of them. We'll do one with metal leaf, one with flakes, and one with powders. Yeah, I think we should be all right. Oh, I got a cup of tea. Thank you very much. Put way too much on now. Thank you. Is it any better? The sound? It's because it's still clipping into yellow on there. As soon as I start talking, sorry, I'm having a conversation with my engineer. Oh, did you? No. Well, I turned everything down on StreamYard and in OBS as much as was sensible to turn down. But like, if you look on there, it's still clipping into the yellow. All right. All right, cool. Oh yeah, that'd be amazing actually. Right, so we've got that. Live sharing session soon the 6th. Oh, cool. If you want to chuck the info up, Todd, if you want to put any links up, put some links up. And if anybody else has got any lives going on or whatever, chuck those in the chat as well. Let's have a sharing day. Wait, there's more. Thank you. Thanks for the tea. Thank you. It's pink tea. Don't ask. Right, so that is drying off quite nicely. Yeah, it's definitely going sticky, so that's cool. Let me move all these out of the way. I dragged an entire table over so that I had room to work. By the way, guys, I don't think anybody's... No one should have missed out on this. I do have a discount code going for this weekend. So it is PAINT-PLAY10. So PAINTPLAY10, PAINT-PLAY10, and that will give you 10% off the Jo Sonja / Chroma range. Seeing as we've got some new projects, new stuff in there. What are we out of stock of? We're out of stock of the large bottles of carbon black. We are running low on black gesso because I had a trade order for some. I'm all right for all the pearlescents, the metallics, new Chroma stuff, although I haven't got much of the neons and the shimmers. We're all right for most of the mediums. The iridescent medium, I think I only have maybe 12 of the small bottles and a couple of the big ones. And nearly all the paints, the normal paints and the background paints now, Colour Trends, are all in stock. And there's loads of texture paste in stock as well. And yeah, no crackle. I might have a play with that, actually. I am wondering whether or not something like the clear glaze medium might work instead of the decor crackle. So I might have a go at that today. Yes. Yeah, Colin, I will have some of that at the at Daventry. I'll have it all with me on Daventry. So let me just have a quick slurp of tea. Pete, I mean, I'm slowly burning through loads of my old demo pieces these days to keep me warm. Oh, and there's also 10% off the racks. So these guys, I showed them yesterday, and a couple of people bought them. And if you're still watching, don't worry, because I actually put the pricing wrong, so you got a good deal yesterday. So these are racks that have been made by Mark and Jenny. They made some for me absolutely ages ago when I was going through a phase. Well, basically, those guys just organized me, and they kind of kept appearing with things to help me not be completely chaotic, because I demoed at their club in Doncaster and there was just stuff everywhere. It was just a mess. It was carnage. So they started making me stuff initially as a joke, and I was like, actually, that's a really good idea. And this was one of those things, and they'd made me these little paint racks ages and ages ago. And so when I took the paints on, I asked them about making them properly. So they're using really, really cool kind of iridescent filament. That's the stuff in it, filament. I don't know. I know nothing about printing. And you can get a 2-tier rack, which will fit 14 bottles in, or you can get a 3-tier rack, and you can have either 14 bottles and a little pallet tray at the back, or just a useful pallet tray. This is the beast. This is the 3-tier one, or you can have 21 bottles, and they are absolutely awesome. They come flat packed. It's a really genius idea. I think that they're absolutely fantastic. We are going to have some slightly different versions at Daventry as well, as in colour wise. They're doing some all black ones, but personally, I think that the coloured ones are just ace, because it kind of fits in with the Jo Sonja theme. So yeah, they are good. And very soon, if you want to print your own, because they are 3D printed, so they are the intellectual property of Jennifer's Craft and Creation. So please do not copy them. But you can actually buy the file to print your own for personal use. That will be up on the Tiny Turner website. I don't think I can put it up on paintsandpigments.com. I'm not sure I have file storage on there. If I can, it will be on both. But if not, it'll be on the Tiny Turner webpage in the next few days, so that you can download it and you can print your own should you want to. Personally, just buy them because they're ace. Why bother going to all the hassle of doing it when you can just buy them? So yes, there you go. They are really cool. So this is just me having a breather, by the way. Sorry. So size is nearly dry. I put a little bit too much on. It collected in the bottom of one of the leaves, so I'm just waiting for that. So in the meantime, let me go and find my bits and bats. That's what I'm after. I have absolutely no Pringles lids at all, which is very sad. So I've got my leaf. Where have I put that? Down here. I'm going to do one of them. I think I'll do a copper one, actually. Oh, no, you're all right, Jennifer. They're awesome. They are really cool, and it's a pleasure to sell them for you, because they are superb bits of kit. I have 3 of them on the go. Right. Let me just grab my gilding cushion and knife, if that is in here. No, it isn't. Ooh, that's concerning. I had a full gilding kit and I don't know what I've done with it, which is worrying. Anyway. Okay. I'm not going to zoom out, actually. Let me zoom out on this one instead, because that other one's in a really good place. So that just lets you see the equipment that we've got. So this is a gilding cushion, and I'm just going to pop some metal leaf on. To be honest, metal leaf does not really need the same care and attention as gold leaf does. If you've ever worked with gold leaf, you can't even breathe. Me and Roy went on a gilding course once, and we came away thinking it would be better to do gilding wearing a snorkel, because honestly, every time you breathe, it's just off. It's just off. It just floats off. Whereas this stuff, because it's relatively thick, you can handle it with your hands. So, seeing as we are not going to be particularly neat, I'm really annoyed that I don't know where my gilding kit is. Just give me 2 seconds, guys, because I thought I'd put that somewhere. I thought I'd put it back, and I haven't. It's not in there. It's not on there. It's not in my gilding kit box. Oh, it's there. Okay. It's looking a bit thin on the ground, is this kit? So I've got my knife. This is my gilding knife, and you can pick up and move your leaf with it. You can unfold it with it. If you want to flatten it out, again, with metal leaf, it doesn't really matter too much. But if gold leaf kind of curls up or scrunches up, if you just get your head directly over it, and you just say "puh, puh," the blast of air will go straight down and it will pop everything out. So I don't know why I've pulled off such a massive piece of leaf. So I'll get that out of the way. And then you can use a gilder's tip to pick this up, but often with metal leaf, it's too heavy for you to pick up with a gilding leaf. So instead, I am just going to pick it up with my fingers. I might see if I can do it with this. Actually, this is a mop. No, it's too heavy. So you don't use static. Static's really bad when you're working with gold, especially because gold is a conductor. So it's not a good idea really for working with gold. What you're trying to do is people rub the gilding tips on their skin or on their hair in order to pick grease up, which is like, it sounds manky, but it works. But the other thing is that this mop is way too big. This is way too big. This is for polishing off at the end. I'm trying to cheat because I'm not really got anything particularly to push this down with. And the problem that you've got is it, as soon as you start pushing down and it breaks the leaf apart, I'm going to put a second coat on, because it will hold it. There's no flex at all in metal leaf, none whatsoever. So it will stick on the two high points. And then when you press it down into the middle, it won't go down into the little bits. If that makes sense. So I'm double layering it because I'm kind of cheating in a way. So the first layer's gone over all the high points, the second layer's gone down. Now the problem that you've got is if you break through that leaf with your when you're pressing it down, you can put little bits of grease or dust or dirt into the size, and it doesn't particularly work very well. So you're better off trying to put as many layers on before you start pressing it into place as possible. Right, so I don't want to swirl that off just yet, but we've got our metal leaf on. I'm not sure whether it's going to take actually. This size isn't. This size was designed for these flakes and powders. For using it with leaf, I'm really not sure. I'm a little bit dubious about how well it will work. So we'll see. There's nothing in that. I need to refill these pots. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a fluffy brush. And pick up our flakes and just brush those into or onto that surface and into that texture. Got a stray little bit of copper leaf that's found its way over. That's worked nicely. So that has stuck really well. So the size it doesn't need sealing beforehand. Yeah, that's worked fine. And then let's put a powder on that last one. See you, Troy. Good night. And have a good day at work tomorrow. Thank you for staying as long as you could. That's really cool of you. And then we've got our powder. So this one is poison. So I put Dryad on because it's a nice green. And then I thought I'll do something contrasting. So the other colour is poison. So I'll get a close-up on the other camera in a second. I'm just going to start to clean these. So the reason that I didn't want to go over the first one and clean that up just yet was because all the bits floating off it would have stuck to the size on the other two leaves. So no, the size has worked okay actually. This copper leaf is not very nice. I wish I'd used the imitate. These. God, I don't know how old it is. It's tarnished slightly, even in its leaf form, so it's not particularly bright. But if you used proper gold leaf for it, that'd be much better. Right, let me try and get a better shot with the other camera. So I'll zoom in again. So those are our 3 little leaves. So you've got the copper one, and then you've got the 2 shinies. You can't really see your colour shift because I can't get it to an angle that it'll change colour. Oh, you can see it a bit on the poison. You've got the greens and the pinks. So the dryad kind of goes to a, almost a bronze colour. So that's worked really nice. That has worked well. So texture paste, you can put the Jo Sonja paints onto, or you can put something like the metal leaf size onto there, the acrylic size over the top of it. And other sizes will work. Something like the Colner system that Cindy Drozda uses, that would work. I probably would maybe consider sealing it, actually, looking at these. Might just brighten things a little bit. The flakes are really, really bright, but the powders and the metal leaf might have worked a little bit better with a sealing coat first. And then we've got our dry brush version. So that is the texture paste. Pretty cool stuff, actually. Pretty cool. That is the texture that we did earlier. So let me see if I can get that in, because I never showed this on close up. I'll turn it upside down and then I can get it onto the camera. So that just looks really good. That just looks like aged metal. And because it's so flexible, you can glue it onto a curve, even though the mold is flat. So that's I'm liking that. I'm liking that stuff. So we've got this texture that's just nearly dry that you can do something else with a little bit later. We've done a bit of background colour and we've used some clear glaze mediums. Let's have a go at varnishing this. So if you've only just joined us, this beauty, yeah, was a bit of an experiment with various different things, mainly the iridescent medium, which is this stuff here. If I can find it, I've lost it. Where's it gone? Iridescent medium. So that was just mixed with some standard Jo Sonja acrylic. So the colour in the background was phthalo turquoise, and it's made the most beautiful kind of iridescent, shiny, metallic-y, pearlescent kind of teal colour, which is a lot brighter than the actual colour of. In fact, now this has dried, so this is on our backboard. In the middle, that is the phthalo turquoise out of the tub. You can hardly see it on the black background, and this is it with the iridescent in. So it's significantly changed it. We also did some of the magenta, and we used, what else did we use? Magenta and Naphtha crimson. Now, because they were brighter colours, I personally preferred the darker colour being changed. So that worked really well. The lighter one still worked, but I didn't have a great colour choice, to be honest. And then Stuart Freeney came along and said, put some neon yellow. So we mixed some neon yellow with the iridescent medium. And actually, that kind of improved things. It's a pretty psychedelic flower thing that we've got going on. And then the top coat is iridescent medium, which you can kind of see. It reflects almost silvery. And I mixed that in with Cosmic Glow. And I'm hoping it's going to glow in the dark. But I want to go over this now with a varnish, because a couple of people had asked about the varnishes. I've got a satin and I've got a matte. I don't really want to put a matte varnish on. And I do have a gloss varnish as well. Now, because of the nature, let me just zoom out a bit. Because of the nature of the varnishes, you've got to be careful when you're applying them, because your paints are often matte finish and they will just soak in the water out of the varnish and then it will clump. So the suggestion is that you go over it first with clear glaze medium. So I'm going to put a coat of that on first, and then we can put some varnish over the top of it. A couple of big brushes. What's that on it? Oh, it's just water from yesterday. I don't have any palettes. Flipping heck. I'll just put it in the middle. So if you're all unsure when you're applying your varnish coat, you could go over it with a lacquer, but I'm wanting to try these out. So the key is don't overload your brush. Don't sort of put loads and loads on there. And we're just going to go over the top of this whole piece with the clear glaze medium, which is a light seal coat. And that will kind of prepare the surface then for putting any of the varnish over the top. So we do have brush strokes anyway on this piece, so I'm not too bothered about hiding the brush strokes, because it is part of the nature of the piece. So I'm kind of going to go in the same direction. What do you think, guys? Do you think we should go for a satin, or do you think we should go for a gloss varnish over the top of this? Not quite sure which to go for, really. I can't wait for tonight to see if this glows in the dark, because I put quite a high concentration of the Cosmic Glow. I'm not sure if the Iridescent medium is going to kind of take over too much. But we'll see. Oh, we've got one gloss and one satin, guys. Could do half and half. I might actually do that. Do half and half, and we'll see which looks best. And then it's a very fair test base because it's the same piece of work. Okay, that's a good coating of the clear glaze medium, which should mean that our varnishes will go on a little bit better. Now, you don't have to worry too much about having some of the clear glaze medium on your brush when you varnish. Chuck's right. You can do the gloss first, but I'll do 50-50. So we'll do gloss. Where's that bit of iridescent? There was a bit of iridescent I put up here, so I'm going to go halfway down here. So we'll go gloss on that side. And we'll go satin on the other side. Oh, it's not quite dry. I thought it was dry. Oops. Jumped the gun there, Emma. Oh, thank you. Cheers, Marvin. Brilliant. Brilliant timing. Thank you. So I'll now put it in. I'll put it in my palette now and be sensible. So we'll put gloss in there. So I'm going to put that on first. Let's get some clean brushes now that Roy's just very kindly done my brushes for me. It's dry enough. So again, I'm not going to overload. So if you don't do the clear glaze medium first, you kind of can't keep fiddling with the varnish. You've got to put it on and leave it alone. And I'm a fiddler, apart from for the crackle stuff. but I'm terrible for wanting to sort of like keep going over and over and getting rid of brush strokes on something like this. So for me, the clear glaze just enables me to be able to do that. Because all you'll do is start picking up either the paint layer underneath, or you'll find that it will start to clump the varnish because you're overworking it and it's kind of dried out because the paint's sucked all the moisture out of it. Okay, it's pretty easy to work with. I can feel it there. I can feel where it has started to dry out a little bit. So I need to stop faffing with that. Missed a bit there. And it's quite durable stuff, this. It says it's for indoor and outdoor use. It's going on pretty evenly. I've screwed up on the edges a little bit. I haven't gone far enough round with the brushes. So what does this say? Do-do-do. Allow to air dry for a minimum of an hour before applying additional coats. And apply 3 coats before sanding. Okay, so you can cut it back, which is cool. So that is our... So I definitely need to put more coats on that. I haven't done a particularly good job with the application. I am not used to using this, but I think that it's going to be quite a nice finish, actually. So, get another clean brush and some more kitchen roll. Does change it though, doesn't it? Does change what it looks like once you put the... I mean, it's the same when you put in your lacquers and stuff over the top. It's the same sort of result that it all kind of comes to life. So satin varnish has it has matte particles in it. It's basically gloss varnish with a matting agent. You do have to make sure that it's well mixed, your satin and your mattes, because otherwise it'll kind of come out as gloss. So if you shake it, make sure you give it plenty of time then to work. Where's my other big brush? So this has just been cleaned. So you do need to use a big brush that's suitable for the work size. That one's a little bit on the small side, actually. I think that's got pink in it. Anyway, let's have a go. So we've got some of the satin. So we'll go this side with the satin. I'm going to put a bit more on, actually, and try and work a little bit quicker with the satin. I'm not sure I had quite enough on the brush to do the gloss one properly. Now you can thin it with flow medium to help it go on, but I think using the clear glaze medium's a better bet. And it brings the background to life. I think that's what kind of makes this stuff work, or these kind of techniques work. When you start putting your top coat on, it just pulls everything together. So whether it's a lacquer, a Hampshire sheen lacquer, or a chestnut lacquer, or your Jo Sonja varnishes on, it kind of just pulls everything together. So let that dry. At the moment, this side is still wet, so obviously it looks completely glossy. But we'll let those dry and see what they look like in a little while. Okay. Yeah, that's already starting to just ever so slightly go. You can just see where it's drying compared to the gloss side. That's still quite reflective. This is starting to dull ever so slightly already. I think it's going to look pretty good. I can't wait to see if it glows in the dark. I'm so excited about that. I'm such a kid. So, what else did I say that we'd do anything of today? So we've played with iridescent medium, we've played with texture paste, we've just had a go with the varnishes, we've used the clear glaze medium. The all-purpose sealer would be quite good if you were making something perhaps that was going outside and you wanted it to be a bit more hard wearing, or if you were making something like, I don't know, a box that you might be opening and closing, and it might be going here, there, and everywhere. Mixing that in with your paint will help to harden the paint. It kind of goes hard as nails does this stuff if you mix it in. But yeah, what else? We've done our background color base on one of these, haven't we? Where's that gone? Yeah. So that's a background base that's had 1-to-1 with the clear glaze medium in. So that just needs a sand off, and then that's ready to go. I'm not sure what to do with that one though. Oops. Oh, I was going to do some paint techniques, wasn't I? But not on there because it needs to be... Where's that other bit? So I need some small brushes, small flat brushes for this next thing. And a couple of colours. Right. Let's go for the green and... Let's go for green and turquoise. Oh, they're not very flowery colours though, are they? Let's use a couple of colours from the other set, that little set that I have. And we'll use a couple of them. Right, that's better. So these are sort of quite nice little techniques that you can use for sort of making flowers, really. Splatter platter. I should do a splatter platter, actually. So I'm going to put some of the naphtha crimson in one. And some yellow orange in another. Oh, see you later, Norman. Don't mind me today, as I say. Just be in and out, pop in, pop out, see what's happening. Cup of tea, whatever. So I'm going to load some red onto one side. And I'm going to put some yellow on the other side. Yellow-orange, sorry, on the other side. Can't pick it up. I haven't got enough yellow on there. Misjudged. Let's try and do... So I just keep picking up a little bit of yellow because the red's quite strong. And the idea is that I'm getting a couple of tones of colour from having the one colour on one side of the brush and one on the other side. And try and keep them orientated the same way. I'm not sure you can see that particularly well. No, not. I don't know if it would, Steve. I'm not sure it is. It's not quite not quite that kind of ochre colour, really. That's better. I was trying to get a highlight coming through. And if you use a pointed brush for the same technique, you can get some quite nice kind of petals going on. Oh, she says, why can I never find pointed brushes? I always seem to lose them. That's not too bad. Let's put a couple of colours in here. Let's put magenta on one side. And amethyst on the other. Oh, they might be a bit similar actually. Where's my dioxazine purple? Just going to darken that amethyst a little bit. And use a separate brush to mix it. That's better colour. Yeah, that's much more acceptable. So I've drawn the paint through one face of the brush, and then you can draw it through the other face of the other paint. And again, you can get some quite interesting. It's not quite a big enough brush to do what I'm wanting it to do. Enter. Purple. It's kind of working. Which way were we? That way. Let me see if I can get a better shot close up of those. So you've kind of got, I haven't got the best brushes for doing this with, because you want to be finishing more at a point, but by loading kind of half and half, that's what's giving you these two-tone colours. So you can use it as like a highlighting or a low lighting technique. And the middle one, you can't really see it in there, but it's worked quite well as the orange. And I've just kind of helter-skeltered it. Now, yeah, I am not the most amazing painter by any means, but there's lots of fun to be had. It's a similar sort of thing, really, to almost like string pulls. Is putting your different colours on and then pulling the string down, and you get sort of that gradient kind of thing. It's just a nice way of blending different things with this. This is kind of an entire video in itself, really. I've done trees like this. And it worked okay. It wasn't brilliant. I need to work on this technique, but there's definitely all sorts of different little things that you can do with this. And I'd probably just keep repeating that design around the edge. I've just realised I haven't changed the camera angle. So I'll just do a few. And then I'd go around with some green at the bottom, maybe highlight it so it looks a little bit more flower-like. But you get the story, you get the idea. That's better. Wasn't getting much variation on that earlier. So I'm just kind of freehanding and eyeballing it, but you could lay it out and be a lot more careful with how you do it. Now the colours are starting to merge there, and if you get that happening, you have to clean off your brush and start again. If you're wanting that kind of separation of the two different colours, then yeah. But I'm getting really sloppy with this now. Now's the time to stop. So that's just loading a brush with two colours, and you can get some really cool effects with that. And you don't have to just do it with those, you can do it with your iridescents as well. That can look pretty awesome doing it with the iridescents. And it's a little bit more subtle as well. Right, where have I been putting my mucky brushes up there? I do like the finish of that clear glaze medium on the wood. That's nice, is that finish. Is that texture paste nearly dried? Right, so what else were we going to have a play with? Oh, I did want to try this background colour. Red maple, it just looks the most gorgeous colour. Oh, it's nice, is that? Maybe another day. Yeah, but yeah, painting barges and stuff. I can't. Oh, I've forgotten the proper name of it. Proper sign writers. They have very long brushes so that you can load lots of paint onto it. And the brush is designed to release the paint quite evenly and consistently, but they're very long. Using short, stubby brushes, you just run out of paint really quickly. But yeah, they are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. A splatter platter. I don't really. What are you thinking, splatter platter wise? Oh, I know what I did want to do. I wanted to do one of those platters. I wanted to have another go with the neons, and do something like that flower that we did earlier. That's what I wanted to do at some point. I've lost a piece. Have I? Yes. It's there. I want it to go over this elm. So I'm going to do the clear glaze medium on it. Should have done this earlier and I forgot I wanted to do this. And I want to go over it with the white gesso. And then I want to go for a proper neon platter and see if we can get it to work better than it did yesterday. So let's go with the clear glaze medium. I've got two on the go and I don't know which is open. This one's open. Palette, 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 palette. Where's that gone? There. Cool. So clear glaze medium. Oh, I've used all my big brushes. I'll use this one, it's still quite big. So you put it on and then you kind of spread it out. And then you go over it and tidy it up. afterwards, as in get rid of your brush strokes. So I try and go in line with the grain to try and hide the brush strokes and spread them out. Now I wouldn't bother with this stuff if I was going to be going on with ebonising lacquer. I don't know if anybody's asked that yet or not. If I was using ebonising lacquer as a background, which we're all used to doing, I would just go in with a standard sealer. The reason I'm using this stuff is because I want it to have a go with as much of the products as possible to see how they worked and what they felt like and how they differed to the stuff that we're used to. And I do quite like this clear glaze medium. It really is very, very light, and it gives a really even surface finish. So that is just one coat, and it's on. You've not got any sort of patchiness to it. And then it dries pretty quick, and then you just give it a sand off, and it's ready to go. So I am kind of liking this. Oh, yes, Greg. 2 days in a row. Bargeware, that's what it's called, right. I've no idea if you're supposed to dry this or not. I probably should read and see if you can. Oh, yeah. You can. I'll continue then. Right, so sand that back with the 400 grit that I keep constantly losing. So, what have we got here? Have I got a 400? I've got 600. That'll probably suit. I'm just going to quickly sand over it in the direction of the grain. So all we're doing really is just denibbing that surface. 600's probably a little bit too fine because you still want a slightly keyed surface, but I'm not being particularly careful, so that'll do. It's got a nice feel to it. So that's the clear glaze on. So I'm going to stick the gesso over the top of this now, the white gesso, because I kind of want to try and make this very, very neon. Because we were playing yesterday and I wasn't really happy with the middle of the platter. The outside looked good and it looked really good on the bare wood. But this elm is a little bit dark. So that's why I thought I'm going to put a white coat of gesso down and then put them over the top. So I'm going to do the same patterning. So Mick Ambry style patterning with the neons over the top of the white. just to see how bright they can look. Now, I'm not being careful at all with putting the gesso on, so you would definitely need to mask the back of the platter off for doing this, because I've probably got paint everywhere. And it might not work. Oops, just put fingerprints in it. Right, so that's smoothed over. I'm going to dry that off with the hairdryer. It's not a perfect coat, but I think it'll do for what we're trying to achieve today. Just to see if it'll work at all. As usual, using a hairdryer in a workshop situation is never a great idea because you just get bits all over the place. So I'll just let that dry a couple of minutes and then I'm going to get my palette and put some of the neon colours in because I really like them. I really love them. So what should we do as the background colour, guys? Do you think we should go for the yellow and then do orange and red and then work back to yellow in the middle maybe? Or should we have what do you think? Or should we have a go with the greens or the blues? Let's put that camera on there. It's nearly dried. I might go for the blue, pink, purple combo today, seeing as we did play with the yellows yesterday. Although it's not a fair comparison, really. It should use the same colours. So we'll go with the yellows, I reckon. So what do we want as a background? I think I'm going to go for... Let's go for the yellow first. Yellow first then, Steve. These are super vibrant. I'm very interested to see what your colour blindness makes of them. So I'm going to go with yellow on the outside, and then I'm going to do red for the swirlies, then orange, and then go back to yellow. Because we haven't got a dark background colour. So I'm going to have to be careful. And I need to change camera, sorry, everybody. Hold on. Wow, that is bright. That is like, yeah. So the gesso, as we discovered yesterday, is definitely the best thing to put underneath this if you are putting anything at all under them. Yesterday we did a really cool platter, and we did sort of a blended platter around the edges, and it looked awesome actually. I was really pleased with how it came out. I did put crackle glaze over the top of it then, but yeah, the starting point was really good. Oh no, olive green and gold. I'll do that one on the other one, actually. We'll do a metallic version of it as well. Just do theme and variation. This one I specifically wanted to be a neon platter. I'm not getting Facebook comments through again, am I? I didn't think that I'd seen many. It's so hit and miss whether it does it on StreamYard. Very, very frustrating. So we've got our red on there. The camera is really struggling with it because it is so bright. You had a nap. Very lucky you, Mick. You've missed loads of good stuff, actually. So I'm going in with the orange just to sort of try and get that middle bit a bit stronger. So these do lift to these paints if they're not quite dry. It is probably because of their chalkiness. So this is safety vest that I'm putting in the middle just to kind of brighten that area. And then I will go over the top of that with yellow one last time. Just want to make some of these flick out a little bit more because they all kind of finish in the same place. It's like a neon sunflower. So bright. Oh, should I put pink in the middle? Greg. It's your birthday? Really? I'd wish you a happy birthday, but you're always so mean. Oh yeah, pink's it. Pink's where we need to go next. But I think we need to dry it, you know, because all it's doing is it's kind of lifting the bottom layers off. Yeah, pink's what we need to do next. Happy birthday! See if that's enough. Yes. This is absolutely nuts, is this platter? I will bring this to Daventry because it's weird how these look so bad on camera. It's concerning, actually, how bad these things look on camera. It's quite funky in real life. That'll do. But yeah, if anyone's coming to Daventry, I'll bring it so that you can see what all the neon paints look like. It's like neon carnage. I love it. That's plenty of pink. Is it though? We missed a bit there. Trying to get the inside as pink as possible. That'll do. Cool. That is vibrant. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It works so much better than the that other undercoat that we did, which is really good stuff apparently, and a lot of artists use it, but for the neon specifically, it wasn't great. Oh gosh, the cameras really do struggle with this. It's very bright. But yeah, I'll have that at Daventry so that people can have a look at it. It's not my taste, but it certainly works with a white gesso. That just makes those electric. How is our varnish doing? Oh, it's going okay. The satin's definitely satin. The gloss has got more of a shine, but it needs a build up. I don't want to pick that up just yet. Who was asking about olive green? It is a very, very much a wham platter. That's a really good way of describing it, Haley. Yeah, it's very loud. Very loud. There was one thing I was wanting to have a bash at. Someone had asked about the metallics again, I think. No, Haley is mean to everybody. He's just a mean person. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, there has been a couple of Facebook comments. I just missed them. Sorry. Okay, guys. So I'm going to give this a sand This is the one that I did. I prepped this really early this morning. This has got clear glaze medium and the background colour galaxy blue. So I'm just going to give it a very, very light sand because it is quite... just need it. And shall we do a centrifuge with this? With some of the metallics? Someone was mentioning... was it Greg that said green gold or something? I'll just zoom back in the comments. Because I think that'll work nicely against this background. Instead of it being on a black background. Yeah, that's all right. It was... I know it's a huge drink thing. It's ridiculous. Yes, I am really small, but still. Oh, I've lost where it is. Greg, no, I don't prefer brighter colours on the pieces. I was just giving it olive green and gold. That's it. That's it. Oh, look at me, so organised, putting my paints back in the little racks. Oh, look how good they look. It's all organised over here. I'm so happy with them. All right, so whilst I'm getting the paints out to do this, I will just put up the discount code in the websites again whilst I'm getting these bits and pieces together. So green, gold, and we'll go for olive green. I think they'll work quite well against this background. Yeah. So these are a lot thicker than the paints we used yesterday on the same thing. So we're going to go for the premium metallics. So I need a couple of spots on my palette and some flow medium. The discount code gives you 10% off across the Jo Sonja stuff, including the little stands, guys. And I have mentioned already that if you are into 3D printing, the file for printing your own of these will be available at some point. But I'm just waiting for that file to be sent over. There will not be 10% off that, though, I'm afraid. It's that will not be covered by it because I get charged quite a lot for digital downloads. So let me just finish cleaning these up and I'll be with you in a second. But yeah, everything else is covered and the stands themselves are covered, and they are really, really cool flat pack stands for your Jo Sonja and Chroma bottles. Flow medium. There we go. So the code is PAINT-A-THON, and it gives you 10% off, and it gives it... I think it's only on the Paints and Pigments website, actually. Well, let me check if it's on the Tiny Turner website or not. If it isn't, I will sort it. Coupons. No, it isn't. Bear with me. 10%. And it is PAINT-A-THON. And it is on Jo Sonja stuff. I don't have a lot on the Tiny Turner website, guys, so you're probably better off if you're wanting some of this for a customer. Sorry, let me just do this now. End date. Done. Right. So yeah, you're probably better off. Oh, sorry, I'm still on that camera. Going onto the Paints and Pigments website than the Tiny Turner one, because there's the full range on there. I have some stuff on the Tiny Turner page, but not everything. So that's to get rid of those. So that discount code will run until next Sunday at midnight. And I have, for once, actually set an end date because I'm really bad at forgetting to do that. Let me just fish this out because sometimes these things stick inside the carrier seal, the travel seal. I've never tried these two colours. See you later, Mike. So I'm interested to see what they come out like. So we need to put some flow medium in, about 50-50 or 1-to-1 with the Jo Sonja stuff. The Chroma stuff is a little bit looser, as we found yesterday, so don't be quite as hasty. And I have a pointy brush and a pointy brush. So I think I will just put random blobs around like we did yesterday and get them to mix a little bit. Oh, it's very dark and broody is this one, isn't it? But it's got a lot of gold pigment in. So I think that they're going to look really similar. And if that's the case, I'm tempted to put some platinum in here as well. Oh, shall we put some steel blue in? What do you think? Shall we put some steel blue and have a full-on metallic finish? Oh, mixed a bit too much paint there. I'm used to putting tons on to make those flower effects. Anyway. These are metallics. Yes, they are. These are the Jo Sonja. They're the new ones, or the premium ones. The old ones are kind of going out of production. There's quite a few things recently. These are going to be more or less the same colour. Yeah, they are. No, they're different enough. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Might put a cheeky bit of steel blue in there as well, though. It is tempting. What do we think? Oh, I'm blobbing all over the place here. Yeah, let's do some steel blue. Oh, that's a right colour. Oh, that could be quite interesting. It's quite dark, is this? So I see why, Mick, I see why you said it was a good background colour, because it is quite a dark colour. Yeah, I'll just put a little bit in between some of those other colours. That's quite an interesting concept. So that is the steel blue. It's kind of the same. It's like a shiny version of the background colour that we've got. I think this is going to look pretty nice, actually. I hope so. So I'm overlapping the dots because I want the colours to merge a little bit. Got plenty of paint on that brush just to try and make sure that it deposits quite a bit. I've never done a sort of dark and broody version, although yesterday's was pretty nice. I have turned the front of that off because I reused it because I was running out of things to do, or things to colour. Let me just grab my box lid. So I think it'll look okay because the metallics are so vibrant with the Jo Sonja stuff that we should be good. Okay. Put that over, fire it up. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Right, let's try it. And, oh, do you know what I think I'm gonna do with this now? I'm tempted to put a couple of dots of that iridescent medium because it's actually a really good silver. The platinum's good, but it's like most metallic silvers. There's a grayness to it, and that's standard. But I think I might put some of that on instead. It's a very silvery colour, is this? My thought was just to put a few like pinpricks of it almost. Yeah, let's do that and see if it works. Now this stuff is thick. So that's what we've got so far. And it's almost a pearlescent white. I'll just put quite a bit of flow medium in, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of... No, I'm not. I'm going to put a tiny bit of... Where's the silver in here? Silver moon dust of the Chroma, because it's a little bit brighter, is the Chroma Craft silver than the platinum. So I'll just put a tiny bit of a mixture together. So, yeah, I think it'll do what I'm wanting to do. I just feel like it needs just a couple of really bright highlights. It's not thin enough. Speed, I was about 2,500, Martin. You've got to do it quick. You've really got to get it up to speed because otherwise you'll get wavy lines. If you get wavy lines, well, so I'm putting a small amount on. I'm actually going to do this on the lathe. I don't really like doing it because it can run. But I think I've got my consistency okay. And I'm not putting big amounts. I'm just putting little dots. Put my full camera on. Because I don't want too many little highlights. Just a few. Just give that a go. Yeah, 2,500. It probably could do to be a little bit faster, actually, for this size. Yeah, that's just highlighted a few little bits. I like that colour combination. I really like that it's not black in the background for once. Flick some white pearlescent in, I can see, in the dark areas. I haven't got a stiff enough brush to do that with. You mean to just do like, almost like stars? Yeah, I haven't got a thick, a stiff enough bristle brush to do that with, really. Yeah, that's just brightened it a tad, just a little bit. Oh yeah, that's tons better. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Never ever would have done that colour combination normally. So yeah, I'm into these background colours. I wanna do a red one. I think that'll look good. That background colour, red maple, beautiful colour is that. Right, so I kind of think I'm getting towards the end of getting through everything. We did crackle yesterday, so I'm not going to go through that again. I've got some retarder medium there, but that is what it is. And we've gone through some of the varnishes. I can't put any more varnish on that yet. I've got to wait a little while. And then we've done our texture paste, wherever I've put those little ditties. Can do a bit more dry brushing on there, actually. I'll just dry brush this textured area just so you can see that, because that's worked really, really well. What colour shall we dry brush with? Let's do an iridescent. And obviously we've got to do iridescent violet, haven't we? It's got to be done. I don't think I've done anything purple today. Whoa, that's expanding. That was obviously full of air. So I'm just going to take that straight off there because it's all gone all over the place. Swirl it all off. And then onto the back of your hand. My hands are a lot better coloured today than they were yesterday. Lynn would be proud. Honestly, JP, we just finish it. Martin, I need to carry on experimenting with the Jo Sonja varnishes. They are obviously a different application because you're not spraying. And I do like that because you don't have to wear all the blooming PPE. I'll go back to them and I'll get them. Let's just do a little bit of dry brushing on that texture. So this texture we put on this morning and it's dry now. So it wasn't one of the first things we did, but that is working nicely. So if you're not into carving or you don't have any kind of equipment to do any carving with, then fire in some texture paste and you can just create some texture dead easily. That just took nothing to do. And then you can go over it with some metal leaf. This is texture paste that we took out of the molds earlier. Camera 3. So that is highlighting with the iridescent over that texture paste. Works wonderfully. And those are the 3 little leaves that we did earlier. And I did highlight and this little guy as well with the texture medium over it. Sorry, I highlighted that with the Chroma colour Ancient Shield, and then I went over it and added a little bit of lustrous gold. I will show you where we're at so far with the varnishes, Martin. So, and it might be worth putting another coat on. I think what I might do as well, just so that you've got you can see is I will let this dry a little bit more, and I'll do this off camera, and I'll put the gloss varnish over this and see how it builds up, because that's got a very, very matte background, and it'll be interesting to see the difference, really. Where is the varnish? There's the gloss varnish. Have we got an area free? So I'm going to put another coat of the gloss on camera, which is this side. You can definitely tell the difference between the two varnishes. Definitely. That half's gloss. So you need a nice big brush for applying this, and I'm just going to go over that half again. The satin, I'd be tempted to leave the satin just at one coat, actually. There we go. Sorry, guys. Roy just ran in going, your sound's gone. I am at Makers. Yeah, it was flat battery. It's true. I have no idea what stand number I'm on. I'm just on with Taylor's Murfield guys, Dan and Katie. We were sharing. Would the texture plate be damaged if you turned out the center of the bowl? Texture paste. No, it wouldn't, Martin. Which one for? Oh, for this one. No. If you put texture paste on and it's dry and it's adhered, just make sure your tools are really sharp, because it's quite hard to cut, is the texture paste. If you have to cut into it, you sometimes have to go over it, because it is flexible, it's rubberized. So it's quite, when your tool touches it, it naturally compresses it instead of cutting it, if that makes sense. So it can be a bit of a fiddle to cut, can the texture paste. So personally, I would probably try and mask off the area, and do something like I do with my banded bowls. If you cut like little V grooves, so you know where that they're going, and recess it slightly, put your texture paste in, but mask everywhere else off, and then you can tidy those edges off with, hide it with some leather cord or something. But yeah, it wouldn't damage it. It wouldn't chip off or anything like that. Not at all. It's pretty cool stuff, is the texture paste, I have to say. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So it's Standee 10, and now I know. But yeah, I'll bring all this stuff, so if anybody is at Makers or Daventry, then you can have a look and see what we've done. That's drying pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with that anyway. Have we missed anything? The wood of the platter, which one? This one is elm. That's the one that we've done the crazy colour in. Mick Hambry style / Stuart Farini / I don't really know. It's interesting, that's for sure. It's not colour choices I would normally have made, but it kind of didn't work, and then it kind of came together. So, and I want to see if it glows in the dark. That's kind of all I care about. Right, I don't think there's a lot really that I can go through of anything else. We've kind of exhausted everything more or less. If you want to see crackle glaze, look back. I think that my live for the proper crackle thing has been advertised. I will just put up there the discount code. It is valid until next Sunday. The code is PAINT-PLAY10, PAINTPLAY10. That will give you 10% off across the Jo Sonja and the Chroma range. So all the new colours of the Chroma stuff, including the things we were playing yesterday. So the neons and the shimmers, all the Jo Sonja metallics, iridescents, etc. All the mediums, everything. It's 10% off everything, and 10% off these seriously cool Jo Sonja. Look at these that Jenny and Mark made. So those guys made some for me ages ago, and I've asked them now to make them to be available for everybody. But look how smart they look. So there's a small version which does 14 tubes, or there's a larger version that does either 21 tubes or 14 tubes and a little storage rack on there. So yeah, there's 10% off those as well. And I will have some of these at Daventry and Makers because they're amazing. And very soon they will also have the QR code, the download available, which I will have the QR code for at shows and demos going forward for if anybody wants to print their own. But they are copyright to those guys. It is their intellectual property. So all I ask is please don't try and copy them. Just download the file. Help out a friend, you know? We're all here to make a little bit. So yeah, there we go. I think that's it really, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. I know that it has been a bit of a wild day. And quite interesting. I've enjoyed it anyway. It's been cool. Oh, I didn't do anything with the Clyster medium. We'll do that another time anyway. The Clyster medium is quite interesting but I need to get something to show you it properly. So it's probably best that I don't do that. I'm going to do some dedicated how-to videos on using all the mediums, because the ones that are available, they are quite old, and some of the things aren't even applicable anymore. So I do need to work on those and put those on the 2 websites, so as well as everything else that I've got to do. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day now. Thank you very much. I hope it's been interesting. If you have got any questions on any mediums or how to use any of the paints at all, drop me a message, reply to one of the videos. You're probably better off emailing me or using the chat forms on either website, and I will try my best to answer what I can. I am not an artist. I have been using some of the paints for a long time and some of the mediums, but lots of them I'm really new to. So I will find out. I have contacts that have been super helpful who will help guide me and sort of teach me a little bit more about things. So if there is anything that you're not sure about, just ask, and then I know to go away and work on it and find it out for you. But yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday Monday, you guys in the UK. For you guys abroad, just have a great Monday. And hopefully I will be able to catch up with you before I end up going to the US for the AAW symposium. So yeah, cool. All right then, guys. Thank you so much. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.